This episode of Co-op is brought to you by Click It or Ticket, Squarespace, and GoDaddy.com.
Yeah, and so after that pretty much covers, at least as far as the outline goes, how low week's gonna go. So that's about it. We need to be just really vigilant, guys, and stay on point, and make sure that we work as hard as. Does anybody have any questions at all?
Sex with Jason.
Questions about anything? This whole thing I prepared and put to Rob.
What object do mayors present to people to honor and welcome them to the city? A, map. B, ticket. C, key. It's the key.
Yeah, it's the key.
Key to the city. Yeah.
So easy, dude.
That's like a $200 question. Yeah, never mind.
Come on.
Baby.
You may have a real question about like what I just talked about for Ryan. What's up?
Can I go to the bathroom? May I go to the bathroom?
You just went to the bathroom.
But dude, I got poo filling up like my entire torso.
You may have a question about the board.
Yeah, Jay.
Anything I talked, Jason?
Who's Tim Choffer? I don't know who that is.
Retard.
Oh, dude.
Great. Unbelievable. Dude.
None of you were taking this seriously. I made a whole presentation here. I outlined our week for us.
Jay, what's the big fucking deal?
Seriously,
We've been to E3 like 30 times.
I've gone like 1,000 times.
Piece of cake,
It's
man.
so simple.
Come on, dude.
What's the deal?
Shut up! We're going to E3 in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and none of you are ready for it. Not a single one of you. So you know what we need to do? I need to whip you guys into shape. That's what needs to happen. For the next 2 weeks, we need to come together. We need to be strong. We need to take our tasks and we need to tackle them like men, like the men that we are. Yeah? Are you with me? Yeah?
The thing I like about you most is you'd run away with me. So pack your bags and your shotgun too. We might run into zombies. We're always down for that co-op multiplayer action. We're always down. We're so down. We're so down. We're so down for co-op. We're so down for that co-op action.
I'd hit a stopping point in my gaming because I quit WoW, and I had a pile of AAA games to play that I've been putting off, including Fallout 3, Dawn of War 2, all these like big time games. And I looked at them all, and then Plants vs. Zombies came out basically that day, and I was just like, I'm gonna play this first. And this is all I've played since.
I was trying to think of how I would classify this because it's got some like tower defense.
Right.
It's got some real-time strategy
Yep.
kind of gameplay to it. And then the other thing I thought of was, you guys ever played Red Rover when you were a kid?
Yes.
That's sort of like those three things I think best like encapsulates sort of the gameplay.
There was
of
one
this.
other thing I thought of on the way over here to talk to you guys. It's also Space Invaders Sideways. To me, it's amazing how simple it starts at. I mean, you play the first level or two and you just got these zombies lumbering really slowly at you in a straight line. They can't move anywhere except straight ahead, and they're going really slow, and you think, how can this be a game?
Yeah.
And it just turns out that the different variety of the zombies and then the variety of the plants, it keeps coming. Every level they throw more new stuff at you, like the inventiveness. every level there's something new.
And I think it's really clever in the beginning of each stage where they show the yard and it slides over and then it gives you your plants, and then on the other side it shows these are the zombies that you're gonna see during this stage.
Right.
And when you started to have a lot of choices as far as plants, I would sit there for like 15 minutes before the stage even started. I'm like, there's a football guy, a Michael Jackson guy, and a pole vault guy. So I'm gonna need like the pea shooter, the fire power up, and the tall nut so that they can't get over it. And it's just like the way they through so many variables and kept piling on more and more plants and more things you had to think about, it still stayed balanced. It still stayed like consistently fun.
Definitely having all those open spaces where I didn't know what kind of plants I was going to have next made me want to play more.
The adventure mode is broken up into 5 worlds, and the way they do that is you're defending your front lawn during day and night, backyard day and night, and then your roof. And with each of those, they kind of carry their own special little variables and elements that you have to think about. The backyard has the pool, which introduces that water element.
There's also the fog that comes in later, which sort of obscures the view of the zombies coming in. So you have to sort of, carefully peer into the fog to see the zombie googly eyes kind of peering out from behind. And then the water, where you can only plant water plants and then put the regular plants on top of them. It gets a little bit complicated, and that adds another step to your whole strategy.
Only have certain plants that can be used during the day and used during the night as well.
One moment I really loved was when the tombstones first appear, and you had the option you had the plant that could eat them, and I thought, well, why would I want to do that? They kind of like block the way. It's sort of cool to have them there. And then when this is a minor spoiler, but when you clear out all the zombies, then they all pop up from the tombstones that you didn't get rid of. It's like, oh shit.
Yep.
But what kind of strategy did you guys use?
I relied a lot on the tall nuts. I did a defensive things just to hold them off, and it was just lobbing shit at them from behind the wall.
Yeah. That's pretty good. My favorite was using the repeater, the upgrade to the pea shooter that shoots 2, and then putting the trunk with fire in front of it so that when it shot through it, the peas would catch fire and it would double their damage. That was a really cool, I liked how they did that, how they let you put 2 plants together and that kind of made a different result.
Everyone has their own strategy, and there's such a variety of ways to accomplish each zone, It's like, I would look over your shoulder and I'd be like, oh, that's how you do it. That's interesting. It's really, no, it's really fun just to watch other people play. It's really rewarding to be like, oh, I never thought of that, of putting bombs behind, the walnuts or whatever, and having the guys vault over them onto those. It's a really cool strategy.
I never thought of that.
That's a really good idea.
And the cool thing is that the limited slot section that you have to choose from definitely opens to like a lot of replay value as well. I still have not used some of the plants that I've gotten just for the pure sense of being secure with my own needs. And I still have to go use like the cherry bomb and all those different fun things.
Awesome.
I love the cherry bomb.
And so it's great. Like I have a whole other set of things to try out, in my second replay of the games. They have the typical gameplay, which is the arranging of the plants, but they also have where you don't have a choice at what you choose. You just kind of have to grab at what they give you, and you have to figure it out. And the bowling for zombies, that was also fun. So they definitely keep it mixed up and entertaining. Even when you think you know what you're doing, they kind of switch it up on you a little bit. So
and even the different levels,
the mini games that are attached to it, because I'd imagine they'd be something like the bowling and the whack-a-mole kind of stuff that you play. But is any more of those?
They have those, and then they have sort of more advanced versions of those that are a little more difficult. But then they do a take on Bejeweled, but they call it Begooled. And what they do is they drop just a random assortment that fills up almost the whole yard of plants, and you have to match 3s just like you would in Bejeweled while zombies are coming, and you need to get 75 matches before they'll let you move on, basically. They have ones where you fight mini zombies. They have ones where you play as the zombies attacking the plants.
Oh, nice.
They do all sorts of crazy little variations.
Are you dropping the zombies in like you're dropping plants into them?
You have like the plants are already set up with defense.
Oh, and
they
you
give
get to pick the zombie types?
Yep, same idea. You have to eat the sunflower seeds to get more sun to get the currency so that you can keep going. And what they say in the beginning is, they're like, well, we just wanted to practice, so none of the plants are actually real plants, they're just cardboard, which is part of sort of the great humor that's in the game, which I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, all the characters from the zombies to the plants to, what's his name, Crazy Dave, who comes and goes like, blah, 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 you know, you're like, why am I listening to you? Oh, wait, but you know, the details are what count in this game, the little zombie notes that they leave you, it just makes the overall experience so much fun.
It really does. You can't undervalue the effort that a developer takes in putting that kind of humor into a game. It totally makes it. I mean, this game would probably still be great if it didn't have all that, but it makes it such a joy to play. Like you're just happy playing this game because it's so funny.
I got click happy with all the sunflowers. Like I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna plant all the sunflowers because you gotta get all that sun to grow your plants. And I just click on the sun like left and right, and you definitely get into this grind mode where you're just sort of in.
That's another cool thing about the game too, is that you, in addition to the strategy part, you're still having to watch the screen and click fast like their other games.
Yeah, and that's really common in tower defense games. You have those sort of waiting periods where you're waiting to get money to build a new tower, or just seeing like what the enemies are doing. This was a Pixel Junk Monsters, I thought, did that really well, where you had something to do while the towers were fighting away the waves of enemies.
I think we have to finally just all say out loud that PopCap is now one of the truly great developers. Like, I don't think they get that credit, you know? I mean, they're sort of like the casual guys, and they don't get sort of put in the same breath as a Valve or a Blizzard or whatever, but look at their track record.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they made fucking Bejeweled, right?
Yeah.
They made Bejeweled and Peggle and now this, and other games too on their site, but these three alone are so damn good.
I agree.
I mean, I think now when they have a new game coming out that's like clearly like their new sort of big one like this is, like the gaming community has to stop and take notice.
I love the tower defense genre, and it's one that I've played a lot, and it's a genre that we have seen, I think, done a lot over the past 2 years especially. And so I've been kind of waiting for, you know, games that are starting to push it a little bit farther, that are starting to blend other genres with it. And this is one of the first times I think I've really felt like I was doing something new with a mechanic that I already really enjoy playing.
I was playing it last night, I put it down for a while, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And like 2 hours immediately after, I was like,
Start running strategies in your head, and you're like, oh wait, let me try this now.
No, it's a real time sink. You have to be careful. You don't have anything important going on, you know, around the time when you're playing it, or else it'll suck you right in.
Yep.
Rob.
Holy Lord!
Did you know that seatbelts are the single most effective way to protect people and reduce fatalities in motor vehicle crashes? In 2007 alone, seatbelts saved an estimated 15,147 lives.
Dude, the
and
doors are
an
locked.
additional 5,024 lives could have been saved if seatbelts were worn at the time of the crash.
How the hell did you even...
Hey, unless you got money to burn and you can risk a ticket, or worse, your mom.
What?
Your mom. No, not your life.
Oh.
You risk your life.
Yeah, it's a big risk.
Yeah. Hey, just remember, click it or ticket, day or night.
All right. So uncomfortable.
I saw your Twitter 2 weeks ago about this game Sway, so I decided to check it out. You aimed me saying that I had to check this game out, and I downloaded it, and instantly, you know, half an hour went by when I was still playing it. This game is really fun.
Matthias Schlem, a friend of mine on Twitter, told me about it.
So the reason it was so addictive to me is because it's like a platformer physics ragdoll kind of game where you just, the only thing you can control is what you grab onto, right? And then you fling you can use either finger, for each finger represents an arm.
Right, each of your thumbs is like your arm, so you have your right arm and your left arm to swing from one platform to the next.
I mean, the great thing about the game, what really defines it for me, is the level design, because the physics make it really interesting, but it's the level design that really makes me keep playing it, you know? Obviously that game is made to be speedrun, you know? Like you're made to go back and see how good a time you can reach on each zone. But you know, that's not the way I play it. You know, kind of start winding up the dude, and then I just fling it. Sometimes he'll actually go past the end zone, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really fun just to see like then what you can grab onto randomly.
Because I mean, the basic idea is to collect keys to rescue your friends.
Right.
For each level, there's 3 keys you have to collect, and as you find your friends, you unlock more characters.
And they each have different properties, right? So like some have longer arms, but they're slower.
Yeah, the monkey is the slowest character I've seen so far, and his reach is long, but his like swing is slow.
So then after that is your favorite, the ninja.
The ninja. It has shorter arms, but you can swing him further, and he's also faster.
It's the motion of the ocean.
And then I recently just unlocked Wabbit, who he's kind of ninja-like, but he seems like he has springier arms. And there's another character before that I unlocked, is Box Boy.
Right.
And I didn't really like him that much. His arms are a little bit shorter, but he is a little bit faster too, but not as fast as the ninja.
Yeah, so it changes up a lot depending on what character you have. So ultimately, I mean, the game is just about collecting objects, you know? Like, they give you these really cool environments with little traps and pitfalls, and ultimately you just want to navigate and collect. You know, I'm a perfectionist, so I want to collect every star. I want to collect all the keys. I want to unlock more characters. I mean, it's really fun to just try out all the different characters, go back, replay the stages you had before, and just see how they act. So that's really what it's all about, you know? It's a fun puzzle game.
It's basically like Monkey Ball.
Yeah, it's a lot in the way that, you know, they set up these obstacles and there's certain set paths you're meant to follow, you know. But I mean, like I said, the physics in combination with the level design just makes it a really addictive game, you know, makes it really fun and totally worth the, what, $4.99 that it is?
It's definitely one of my favorite iPhone games that I've been playing lately.
Yeah, me too. It's up there.
Glad you guys could finally make it.
God, Jay, what are we doing here at 9 a.m.,
I told you, I'm gonna whip you guys into shape. You went up one hill, and look how tired you are. You think you're ready for E3? Bunch of fat slobs, unbelievable. Hey, Ryan finally made it, good. All right, I got a whole workout plan ready for us over the course of the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna get us prepared and pumped, all right? Let's do it. Let's go, come on. Do it. Get up there, let's go. Rob, come on, let's go. Ryan, up on the platform. Up on the platform, Ryan, let's go. You guys are unbelievable. It's the first day, you're a bunch of babies.
No more, Jay, no more, dude.
Well, you're right, we're not gonna be doing it anymore.
Thank you.
Phase 1 is done. We need to go back to the house and move on to phase 2.
What?
That is the mental exercises that I have prepared for all of you so that we're ready.
No.
Yes, that is what we're
That's
doing.
ridiculous. Come on.
I don't want to hear it. Let's go. Get to the car. We still got more work to do. Let's go. Let's go. Ryan's trying to get there. We're going to go right into the south hall. We're going to get all the way to the back hallway. All right, name game. Come on.
War Inspector.
You got to be faster than that.
Todd
Come on.
Howard.
Let's go. Let's go. David Jaffe. All right, two. Who are these two guys? They go together.
The Bioware doctor.
This is Dr. Ray Musica. This is Dr. Greg. That's Chuck. Please. Who is this?
It's Ken Levine.
Gotta be faster.
Hideo Kojima.
There you go. Who is this?
Artie Lang.
Artie Lang. Interview training. Go.
Mr. Molyneux, how do you feel about Mr. Wright? Very good to see you this afternoon. Mr. Miyamoto, I really love your games. Gentlemen, you guys are gods of gaming. Molyneux, how do you feel?
We're done. So while everybody else is here in Hall A, all on their lines trying to get the interviews, we're gonna go right into the South Hall. We're gonna get all the interviews we need, we're gonna get all the footage, we won't have to wait in lines, we bang it out really fast, then we sneak through here, we go through the back hallway and come up, avoid all the traffic, get into Hall A in the afternoon, and we're done. Any questions? Ryan?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Fine, go to the bathroom. All of you go, please. All of you, that'd be great. Just, you especially, go. Go, think about what we talked about.
What if life was like Squarespace?
Squarespace is a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. Squarespace offers a uniquely flexible tool for just about anyone, no coding experience required, to build high-end, complex websites with the same functionality and uniqueness that you find on some of the highest traffic pages on the web. Good taste not included. Sign up today and use promo code COOP.
By now Rimat must be up and telling your hundreds of brothers and sisters to come after us.
Father, Mother had many children, but we are not hundreds.
Oh, you're not hundreds. We're pretty safe then, huh?
Zeno Clash is a beautiful game.
It is very beautiful. It is fucked up and it is beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful is not the first adjective I would use. It's definitely in the list somewhere.
Yeah, I really respect it because there are a lot of games that are set in fantasy settings, but still this game stands out from them. Even against AAA titles that had huge budgets, it's basically a tribal fantasy if you wanted to really kind of choose a couple of words that sort of describe the characters and the setting and all that sort of thing. But it's it reminds me more of, everyone always says Miyazaki. It reminds me more of Miyazaki than most other games that are trying to feel like that. And that was the thing that drew me into the game, and that's what kept me playing even to the end, because I got a little frustrated with the end of the game.
Part of the reason why it doesn't feel like an indie game is just the sheer amount of art assets that are in this game. I couldn't believe how much modeling that this team must have done to have all these new unique characters and all these unique situations, and they had scripted events on top of that. I mean, this was, we kind of throw around the word labor of love a little too often, but this clearly was.
It's doubly impressive when the credits roll, because that's when you realize the whole game's made by 6 people.
Yeah.
So, if you watch, it's the same names keep being repeated. Yep. It's like animation, this dude, music, same dude,
right.
Background, same dude, and 3 of them are brothers. It's. I usually try to evaluate games kind of in a vacuum just on their own merits, but it was easy for this one to really be kind of I wanted to extra get behind it, because it's obviously just this very small number of people with a very clear vision, and they funneled it right in. So.
Yeah, they executed on their vision so well, and a lot of AAA titles can't even do that.
Yeah.
I think these guys were very inspired by Valve's work, and a lot of the combat, which is actually pretty good, and I'm sure we'll discuss in a moment, is in these kind of arenas, and it's a melee-focused game, and you step into an arena, do some combat, maybe fight a few more guys after that, and then walk to an exit. There's a cutscene, and then you're in some new place. So it's not very continuous like a Half-Life game might be. But the other thing that stands out that reminds me of Half-Life is it actually feels like a Half-Life episode in terms of the length of the game, the way the story is told, the fact that you have this character that comes with you basically the entire game. So you always feel that sort of companionship that you did when you were with Alex playing through the Half-Life episodes, and that's really cool, because there still aren't that many games that do that. There are co-op games, but not non-co-op games where you have an AI character.
Right, non-co-op games that feel like co-op games because the AI feels right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it's also kind of reminiscent of the Half-Life episode, just like the distribution of gameplay mechanics. You know, it's mostly melee.
Right.
But then here's a chapter where you're just talking to people in like a tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a chapter where you're on a boat shooting at people. You know, there's that crazy sequence where you're like, you got like the scepter that's also a torch, that's also like a throwing fireballs with it. It's like
throws Mario fireballs.
Yeah, like every couple chapters, even though it always comes back to the fighting, which is the best part, it's always still showing you or giving you something new to do.
Even the boss battles, you know, they kind of do the same sort of Half-Life training sort of thing where, you know, you might fight a boss using a new mechanic that you haven't used before. It'll show up again later and be sort of the same but somewhat different. You know, they'll add a couple twists to it and that makes it exciting.
And they didn't just throw the same boss at you with the same model. Even if he functions the same way, you know, you have the big guys that you have to fight that you can only hit with the strong melee items. But there's 3 different kinds of those guys, even though they all have the same basic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of these characters that was in the game, whether it was an enemy or an ally, like I found myself just walking up to them and looking at them, like as much as possible, because there was intricate little details. It's like every little character was a story by itself.
I think the game needed like a character modeled viewer, like Resident Evil 5 has. You really want to, because it's almost like they each tell a story just not by their design, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and we're used to seeing storytelling in level design or storytelling in some gameplay design, but storytelling in character design, I actually feel is kind of a rare treat.
I'm thinking of like small sections of the game. I mean, there's a time when you come back into the city after you've gone into the desert, and you need to make your way into this lair where Father Mother, one of the main characters in the game, is supposedly, you know, hiding out. And there's like a woman that you know gives you the code so that you can enter this secret pass or secret room, and she seems, you know, she has her own little lair, you know, and you only see her for like a minute over the course of the whole game, but there's so much detail in her, like in her, you know, like level and in her character design.
We'll kill you.
They make the mistake that I think most first-person melee games make, where they really start throwing more than 3 guys at you at once, and when
all with guns.
Yeah, when half of them have guns and half of them are running up to you, like just sprinting right at you and attacking you, it kind of breaks everything.
I know exactly which part you're talking about, and I had to step away for an afternoon from that part. Like one-on-one, the melee combat is sublime. I mean, I can't think of a way to improve it. But yeah, like you said, when they start throwing that many guys at you, it gets to be a handful.
Yeah, and it's a common dilemma in first-person melee games, because it's like, are they only going to have one guy coming at you at once while everybody stands around watching you?
Like in every action movie ever made.
Right, exactly, because that doesn't feel right either. But if they're all attacking you at the same time, you know, then that breaks that combat as well, and it turns what's essentially a really fun, unique combat experience into something that's frustrating, and that's unfortunate. I don't know what the solution is. I don't have a creative way around this, because, you know, these guys are clearly more clever game designers than I am.
I love first-person melee. In this game in particular, great combat, great combos. You know, it's just really fun. Counter moves, blocking, all the stuff that you'd want in a good combat game. Melee
kicking
combat.
somebody when they're down.
Yeah, kicking them when they're down. Great stuff. Even the gunplay, you know, it's clearly not the focus of the game, but it's pretty well done. This game, I know this didn't happen to you, and I doubt this happened to you, but I had to fight that battle probably 20 times. One of the times it bugged out on me, and there was some enemy that got caught somewhere, and I couldn't actually finish it. So then it took me another 10 times to actually, like, you know, finish that battle. It was atrocious. I finally got to the final battle, and it's very similar to the first time you fought the boss, except for they throw more enemies in at you. This was one of the first times. I think of myself as a fairly hardcore gamer. I mean, I play games all the time, but I got so frustrated when I got back to that boss battle and realized what it was, the same final boss, but with additional enemies thrown in just to make it slightly more obnoxious. I broke down, I typed in God mode. I God moded through that battle because I was like, I'd been so frustrated playing these few buggy parts over and over near the end again and again, that I just wanted to, yeah, that's a testament. Any other game, I would have stopped. If the combat got so frustrating at the end, I would have stopped. But the story was so good, and I really wanted to know what the hell Father Mother's special secret was that they keep building up, and you don't actually find out to the very end of the game that I did stick with it by putting in God mode and finishing the game.
Well, it's so unique and bizarre that you have to see all of it to really absorb what it is and what it's about. I mean, can we talk about Father Mother a little bit?
Yeah.
Like my nominee for creepiest character, skin crawling voice work.
God, why did you bring him here? It's my baby. Don't let him get near my babies.
Why do you think I'd want to hurt you? Why couldn't I come here?
He didn't know.
Father Mother is one of the best character designs in the whole game, and obviously your character looks good, your AI teammate looks pretty good, but Father Mother is just outstanding.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the rest of the characters seem to hold up just as well. Like there's the one guy that you were saying you love so much.
He's my favorite character. Yeah, he's got this big bulbous head, and all he does, and they say when you go into the Corwid of the Free Village that he will only move in a straight line, and that's his particular madness that he chose. You know, and I feel like Father Mother is that kind of character as well. He has his own particular madness that he chose, and you find out by the end of the game what it is, and it actually makes all of these characters simultaneously frightening and sympathetic.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely gives them an extra kind of emotional angle.
Yeah, I mean they're three-dimensional. Like that game could have been very two-dimensional. You know, you could have just had the bad guy character, and you know you being the good guy
beat
character.
Up a bunch of people.
But even your backstory is like just really complex. You've had a pretty wild past as well, and not only that, I mean, while we're talking about narrative, the time manipulation in this game is just really great. I mean, it's not a spoiler to say the game starts with you killing Father Mother,
right? And
then you kind of work your way up to that battle again through the course of the game, and there's all these flashbacks that tell about the time leading up to those events, and you know, it's really well done. I like that it's not just one linear adventure as you go through it.
The Corwids are not slaves of reality, so they can be insane.
You almost seem to admire them.
I was a Corwid of the Free.
Nah.
Practically every aspect that you can think of, character design, like you've probably never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
It seems like that's a consequence of it being such a small team and having such a clear vision that they just went for 100%, you know, nobody telling them over here, like publisher saying, no, maybe you should rein that in, you know, I mean, you definitely get the sense this is what was in their heads, you know, and they just made it into a game.
And imagine what these guys, you know, if these guys, I don't know what their situation is. Who knows? Maybe they got a bunch of money and that's how they were able to finish their game. I don't know what their circumstance is, but all I know is that whatever these guys make next, I'm there. You know, like. If you want to make an impact online, GoDaddy.com has what you need. .com names as low as $1.99. Plus world-class hosting, fast and easy website builders, and much more. Plus, enter code CO6 when you check out and save an additional 20% off of a 1, 2, or 3-year hosting plan. Some restrictions apply. See site for details and get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. I would not have wanted to be tasked with the task that Grin had, which is to make a sequel to a game that was probably in the top 5 or 10 of a lot of people, a lot of hardcore gamers, top 5 or 10 NES games, you know? It doesn't even have a chance to live up to the original. Well, I guess they could have knocked it out of the park, and they didn't. It's good. I think it's a good game, but it's not a classic.
Swing mechanic, they totally nailed it.
Yeah, it's totally nailed. And that's what makes this game, you know?
You don't just swing magically like Spider-Man, shoot it in the sky and you just magically swing.
Right, it's like the opposite would be a Prince of Persia game where when you swing on a pole, you would press a button to let go of the pole. You always jump off at the exact same distance, your jump is always the same length. In this, you really do have to be aiming at the right location horizontally, and you have to time when you're letting go of the button and when you're holding the button again.
Damn it, Joe. If you were gonna babysit me, you could have let me know about it.
What the hell are you talking about?
A sniper. A damn good one. Who else do you have in the field?
A sniper. Just a relic of a past life, Spencer. Put it out of your mind. You're almost there.
There's tons of skill involved in learning to swing properly. It feels really awkward when you first start. And then by the time you've gotten through the game, it feels really, really good, and you can do some crazy shit.
Yeah, but it also is very forgiving in that if you do miss a jump, you can just stop your momentum, jump up on the whatever beam you're on, and start over again, like regain where you were at.
I got to the first boss battle. At that point, I was just doing some crazy, crazy shit, never touching the ground, making my way up this giant thing with like very little effort, and it looked flawless. At that point, I realized like, wow, they really did nail the swinging in this. I kind of wish there was like a playroom, a training area with a bunch of like just wicked random shit to climb off of.
Because they give you a taste of it in the actual training area, but they don't ever build off of it.
Oh, it's not even close to what I want. Like if you see the gym in Lara Croft's house, like
you know,
I want something like that. In a virtual environment, there's so much that they could do. I mean, look at the Mirror's Edge DLC, and I kind of want something like that, but for this game. I think that would be really, really cool. At the beginning, I wasn't very good at swinging. I thought the gunplay, because it felt a little weak, like I'm just not that into it. I'd much rather shoot guns in a Gears of War or any of these other shooting games that come out where the guns have some weight.
It's not the strength of this game.
No, it's not. You have one special weapon slot, and you have your pistol, and you have grenades. Right. The grenades are fucking awesome, and they work long range.
They use a proximity fuse, which is, I think, what makes them so much better. You don't have to hit right at an enemy. You hit within like a sphere around them, the pins will like detect that they're close enough and explode.
Beginning, you don't have all of your bionic arm abilities unlocked at that point, so you can't really interact with enemies with your bionic arm.
Which, by the way, has one of the worst explanations ever as to why you suddenly can't do what you were doing 5 minutes earlier.
You mean you just remember them?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would approach enemies differently.
Totally.
You were a little more methodical, and you would stand and latch onto enemies, and you like to throw enemies, like
that's when the game, the game really changed for me when I could actually throw things with my bionic arm. 95% of the time you're gonna hit if you throw it at an enemy. Then you have your pistol, which, I mean, I guess you used it for long range, and I tried to, but I just I needed that ammo most of the time, so I wasn't using it for that. So once I was able to pick up an object and throw it really, really, really far, and hit every time, it felt like my long range weapon that I was waiting for. I really thought this game was going to have very few points that you could grapple onto, and that the rest of the world would be ungrappleable. But in fact, it's the opposite. When you're trying to grab an enemy or a box that you're trying to pick up in the environment, sometimes it's a little too, you have to be too precise. You feel like you're babying it because the ground is all grappleable as well, and it doesn't know what you're trying to grab. So.
Yeah, the attack that I like to use the most is like hit a guy with my arm, jump up in the air, and go feet first right into his chest.
Right.
And I would jump in the middle of like 4 enemies, and I'd latch on at one, jump in the air, go to the next one, and just work my way in a circle and kick them like 3 times. Never hit the ground at all.
Most of the stages are fairly linear and fairly tight. It's not an open world game at all. You're essentially moving down a straight path.
And that kind of actually was one of my gripes early on, in that they put you in this city, this kind of destroyed city that's seemingly wide open, and then they put the artificial barrier of this radiation that it's better than an invisible wall, but it's still frustrating. The game gets much better as you go along. I think once you get out of the city, the feeling that I needed to be able to go anywhere because it looked like I should went away.
Right.
And I think the game works much better from there on out.
Yeah. You wish there were a few more checkpoints in this game.
I wish there were a lot more checkpoints in this game, in certain areas. As a cardinal rule of game design, I would think that at the end of every cutscene, you have a checkpoint.
And that is not true in this game.
It's not.
Yeah. By the time you get to some of the harder enemies near the end at the port section, there's a lot of depth to it at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, the game just really comes into its own before the final act, which I think is its weakest part.
Yeah.
But it's supposed because it's story driven, and the story and the characters in this game are the worst part about it by far. To me, it was weak. I mean, I beat the game. I think the ending is pretty cheesy. I think they might have screwed with the lore a bit.
Using Kojima-esque twists.
Yeah, there are a few twists at the end that are kind of silly, but it didn't really bother me because I was mostly in there for the gameplay. I mean, that's why I played the original game too.
We're sending you into the city to scout the area and help us track down those responsible. Hell you are. I'm just a man, Spencer. I can't give you the last 5 years back, but I can give you this.
I guess ultimately for me, the game is competent and it has a lot of fun parts to it as well. But for me, it never really felt like Bionic Commando. It feels more like a reskin kind of Lost Planet than like a true Bionic Commando. And like you said at the beginning, like taking that from a 2D to a 3D couldn't have been an easy task for them. And I'd say that, you know, they got part of the way there, but I think ultimately they lost kind of the core of what an essence of what a Bionic Commando game is. And I can't even really put my finger on it, what it's missing, but it just doesn't feel like a Bionic Commando game.
I have to disagree. Swinging, I think, is like 1,000. It doesn't even compare to Lost Planet. Lost Planet, you don't have any swinging involved, and there's so much swinging in this, and that is the beauty of Bionic Commando. And that's where all the skill and the gameplay is as well. I think they did a good job at that. I think Bionic Commando fans would be unwise to skip this game. You know, there are probably a bunch of games that are going to come out this year that are better, but there probably aren't going to be better games this year that come out with an awesome swinging mechanic. This is the best swinging mechanic I've ever seen in a 3D game, and it's awesome. It's not as good a 3D remake as maybe the Metroid Prime series,
right?
But it still feels like, I think it feels like Bionic Commando.
Failure, worthless, lazy. Those are the words that I thought I was going to be using to describe you guys today, but you blew me away. Every single one of you. You each dared to be great, and you were great. You were great. You were great. And now, I can't wait to go to E3. I cannot wait to edit segments, doing interviews, capturing footage. We're gonna nail it, guys. We're gonna nail all of it. And it's because we worked hard and we completed our task. Right? You feel good? You feel ready now?
Right.
Yeah? Clear eyes, full hearts.
Can't lose!
Yeah! Boys, that's my boys. All right, get out of here. You guys did great today. I'm proud of you.
Great job.
Nah, get out of here. Oh, hey, alcohol endurance training next week. Cliffy B gives you a shot. You got to be able to handle that. So go home, relax, but next week.
Make you proud, coach. Make you proud.
You already have.